friend, welcome back to my channel. For today's video I will be doing my monthly wrap-up for August. Last month was a slow and small reading month. I only read 4 books as you can see, so I will go through each of them and tell you a little bit about them. The first book that I have read in August is Warstorm. This is the 4th and final book in the Red Queen series. I gave this book 3.75 stars. It was really long to read. I feel like every book in the Red Queen series are really long and they are not that big. I think it's only about 650 pages, so it's really not that big, but it took me 9 days to read this, and that's really too much. I feel like a lot of information in this book could have been left out. So many descriptions of plants or wall or decorations that were not really useful in the story, and sometimes it was pages or two of descriptions and it was really useless to the story, so that could have been left out. I really like the story in this book. I think it was my favorite of all the 4 books, but it kind of pissed me off that it took it took a war for Cal to open his eyes and see what was right. The war started and 3 seconds later it was like, oh, maybe I should have done that, when everybody was telling him to do that thing. So yeah, what I have to say about this that disappointed me is that we don't see a lot of training for Mare and her powers. I think she had a lot of potential to be powerful, but we didn't see anything about that in this book. She's more powerful than in the other books, but I feel like they all talked about how her powers are really big and everything, but she is not at her max, and I wish we could have seen that and how it would affect the wars, and we didn't, so that was disappointing. So Mare was not badass enough for me. Cal was kind of boring, and the brother was a bitch like in all the other books. So that was my wrap up for Warstorm. The next book I read in August is Neon Gods. It took me 4 days to read, and for me in this month this was a fast read. If I had more time I probably would have read that in 2 or 3 days. I give this book 3.5 stars. This is a Persephone and Hades retelling. I didn't give this 4 or 5 stars because it was really fast, so everything was really fast paced, and the attraction between the 2 main characters was really fast, and I don't really like that. Also, in this book Hades was always saying how Persephone looked like a goddess or a queen, and at first it's nice, but when it's like the 5th or 6th time that you're saying this in maybe 10 pages, it's kind of too much. I don't have a lot of things to say about this book. It was quick, it was simple, it was interesting, and I would recommend this. This is a dark romance and it's about Persephone. She is in an arranged marriage with Zeus, and she fled to Hades' territory, if I can say, and now she wants to make a deal with him so he will protect her, and I don't even remember what she gives him in return. I think she's just being there for him. So this was a fun book, and I will probably read the rest of the series. The third book that I read in August is Sight, and I really enjoyed this book. It was different from all the other books that I read, since I'm I read mostly fantasies, and this is a sci-fi book. This is a story about a future world where death doesn't exist. The scythe are chosen, if I can say that, to glean, and glean is killing. So they have to glean people to still control the population number, and all these sites have different ways to glean people. It's either random, or they choose their victim with statistic, like 1 in 12 people died crossing the street. So the site will look at a random street, and then the 12th person, he will just clean them. So the story is about two kids, Citra and Rowan, and they are both chosen by a site to become apprentice, and we navigate the whole thing, and we can see, even in this futuristic, almost perfect world, that some people want more power and more control, and how they will deal with that. I really like that in this story they say they turn a corner when they get younger. They can go back to, I think, 24 or 21 years, and they can't go any younger than that. So maybe you're 80 and you want to go back to when you were 21, you turn a corner and you still have all your memories, but you're in a younger body. I give this 4 stars, and I didn't give 5 because sometimes it was really confusing who was talking. We can read the book and then it just skips and it's someone else, but no mention of who it is, so we have to guess, and then when we guess we have to go back to reread with knowing who is talking. So that was confusing, but other than that I really like the book and I would recommend it. The last book that I have read last month is To Kill a Kingdom. This is a Little Mermaid retelling, and in this book the FMC is really badass. Her name is Lyra, and we also follow the prince, and his name is Elian. In this story, the Little Mermaid is a siren, and there's a difference in this book with sirens and mermaids. She really is a monster. She kills people, well, she kills prince, and in this story, every year she takes the heart of a prince, and for her 18th birthday she wanted to have Elian's heart. Her mother is, well, if we compare it to the Little Mermaid, she would be Ursula. She's the sea queen and she controls everyone. So for her 18th birthday she wanted to have Elian's heart, and her mother was against that. She wanted her to have just a random guy's heart to teach her a lesson. And when the queen saw that Lyra wasn't listening, she wanted her to kill the prince without her singing voice and without her powers. So she became just a human, and Elian got her on his boat, and he's also badass. So he really didn't trust her at all, and his crew didn't trust her. So it was a game of her trying to gain his trust and him trying to see if she's hiding something. And in this book we just see Lyra's character evolution and how she becomes more and more human with emotions and less of a monster. And well, it's a love story, so they do fall in love, but I gave this 3.5 and not 4 or 5 because we really don't see a lot of their love story. In the end, I think they are together, maybe not even, for 1% of the book. So yeah, that was one of the negative point that I had. I really like how each kingdom in this book had a story about the royalty. There's a kingdom where Alien is from, it's like a golden kingdom, and people say that the royal family has gold instead of blood. There's another kingdom where people are supposed to have blue lips and almost white skin and be immune to the cold, because only the royal family can go up and down a certain mountain, and it's the highest point of the whole map, and everyone who tries to do that and who's not a royal, they just don't come back. I think this insight were my two most favorite books for August. So these are the 4 books that I have read this month, well, last month. Let me know in the comments if you have read any of them and what you thought of them, what you rated them. If you have any suggestion of book that you think I would like to read, you can also comment down below. And with that, I will see you in the next one. Bye!